Welcome to the Dice Tower. This is the Origins Summer Preview with the Dice Tower, done at the Origins Game Fair 2013 in conjunction both with the Dice Tower and the Game and Manufacturers Association, GAMA. In this series of videos, we talk to different publishers and designers about games that have just come out or that are about to come out in the future. Here's today's video with your host, Eric Summer.
Hey. The Dice Tower's coverage of Origins 2013 continues. I'm here with Stephen Bonacore. Stephen, you have 3 new releases coming out in the next month or so.
That's right, 3 new releases. Basically, we're calling them Origins releases, but they're basically our early summer convention releases.
So they're here now, and they should be in distribution very soon.
Very soon, early July for a couple, and late July for one. And we'll start with that one, actually. How's that?
Let's
what a great
start
segue.
with that
I'm
one,
like
yeah.
almost a professional here. How's that one? Since we're in front of it.
This is time and space.
That's right, time and space. In the endless depths of space, where time is precious. You must manage your time. All about time. That's what this game is about.
Yeah.
The game plays in exactly 30 minutes. It's a timed game. And it's actually an introductory 12-minute version as well to get you the feel of the game. Mm-hmm. But not only is the game timed in how much you will play this game, how fast you will play it, also your actions are timed. Each player gets 2 sand timers. You can only take an action when a sand timer has run out. So you do something and you flip the timer, and that then has to stay there. So what are you doing in this game? You are producing goods and going and picking up and delivering goods over to your neighbors, and they have demands over there that you have to fulfill. So there's a lot of interaction for a very streamlined Euro mechanical game with the very, very cool mechanics of not only sand timers for your actions, but also a timed, exactly 30-minute experience game.
Now, I did the demo of this, and it reminded me of a game I had played before.
Absolutely.
Space Dealer.
Absolutely.
And of course, this is actually that game. This is the revision, the 2.0 version.
This is literally a 2.0, Space Dealer 2.0. Same designer, same publisher. Eggert Spiele is the main publisher, and we are the co-publisher for North America. That game when it came out, everyone loved that very interesting time mechanics, action-based, sand timers. But there are a few fiddly items in that game that people were not crazy about.
Yeah.
So they basically revamped it and streamlined everything. And you could even tell. You sat down at first and you were playing it, and you were thinking that it was similar, but it was a big departure from that original.
Yeah, it's a distillation of the concept. And plus, you said you also went through and got the tolerance of these sand timers.
That's right.
To be much closer to each other.
That's right. They are 1-minute sand timers. I'm sure that some people find it that one is a 59-second one, but we actually paid extra money to make sure those sand timers were going to be as close to 1 minute as possible. Much less variance than your standard off-the-shelf sand timer.
Excellent. And this is just in the next couple of weeks.
And this will be out. This will be by the end of July. Okay. This is the later one of the 3 that we're going to talk about.
Great. Well, let's move on to vampires, shall we?
Let's talk about Vampire Empire. Vampire Empire. There's actually 2 copies of this setup over here. In Vampire Empire, there are 9 characters in the castle, and the hunter has got to find out which 3 of those characters are vampires. And the vampire is trying to bluff his way around and trying to throw up various ruses so that the hunter does not think that it's this one versus this one. It's very asymmetrical. It's another 2-player game in my 2-player game line, like with Revolver. Very asymmetrical decks. They play completely differently whether you're the vampire or you're the hunter. Hunter side, deduction, and lots of combat trying to kill the vampires. The vampire side is a bluffing type of game, and he's got to defend against the ones that he wants to make sure live to the end. And that is basically the way it plays. The game comes with card sleeves, very cool looking card sleeves that are specially made for the cards that you don't want to nick or anything like that.
The roll cards, you really need to know.
You got to make sure that those aren't the ones that ever get marked or anything like that for the game.
Very cool.
Very good.
Last but not least.
Last but not least is Voluspa. Voluspa is a tile-laying game set in the Norse mythology. In Voluspa, you're trying to dominate the lines of tiles that are around you by playing the highest number in a line. If you get to the highest value in a line, you will then score a point for every tile that's in that line. Now, you might just say, well, that doesn't make sense. Odin, who is an 8, he's going to always win, and Thor, who's a 7, is going to win quite a bit. Haha. But a lot of the other tiles, the weaker tiles, have these very special powers that will combine when they're next to other tiles. Loki, for instance, he of course is the trickster. When you place Loki, every tile around him, except for a Loki tile, becomes a 0.
Okay.
So you then will be able to score with a Loki. The trolls stink up the area, and when you put them down, you cannot place another tile next to a troll.
Gotcha.
So he's a 6. The Valkyries, if you get a Valkyrie at the beginning and the end of a line, something like this, you'll then score for all the tiles in between, even though they're only worth 2. So it's this game about trying to outsmart each other as you're placing tiles. Very fast-paced tile laying game. Plays in about 30 minutes. 2 to 5 players. Scales really, really well. Beautiful art by Piero.
And this is also a revision of an earlier title, Kachina, correct?
That was right. A small company, Bucephalus Games, they went out of business and they had a very small print run on that. White Goblin Games picked this one up too, and we were co-publishing it, and we rethemed it in Norse mythology and got a great artist, Piero, to do the artwork on this. And in fact, what we also did in the box itself comes with another expansion, an extra 25 tiles called the Saga of Ida expansion, and that will give even players of the original game a little more interesting things to do with the game. And we've got other plans for this game in the future too. More expansions maybe, things like that. So yeah, really, really fun, good looking game. I think this is going to do very well for us as we move forward.
Excellent. Well, sounds like July is going to be a very busy
That's exactly right. This is July 2nd release, as Vampire Empire, July 2nd in the stores.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Eric. Always, and tell Tom I said hello.
I will.
Thanks so much for watching The Dice Tower and the Origin Summer Preview. We'll see you next time. I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.